Welcome back to TransGuyReacts. My name is Nick, and I make videos about women's basketball, collegiate or professional, and today I'm going to talk about the WNBA games for Thursday, June 27th. There were 4 games on today. There was an early morning game between the Minnesota Lynx and the Dallas Wings. This game, Cheryl Swoops was on the call. I love that she's one of the analysts, the legend, the GOAT, she helped start the WNBA, so gotta respect. Unfortunately, it was camp day, so I hate camp day. I think it's a ridiculous thing. I think it's really disrespectful to the league. Really kind of lessens the professionalism and the respect that the women's game should have. I think it's too loud in a negative way. The kids are just like yelling for no reason, and I kind of think the kids don't even care. They're elementary school kids. They're just happy to get out of their school programming. I think if you're going to do camp day, this should really be for middle school kids and high school students to expose the league to a different demographic that can grow along with the league. They're very, that age group is closer to making their own decisions, and they're going to get older and be fans for life, as opposed to a small child who's not probably even going to remember the day, to be honest. So that's my opinion. I don't like camp day, but it was camp day. So the Dallas, in news for the Dallas, they released Morgan Birch and signed Odyssey Sims to a rest of the season contract, hardship contract, a couple of days ago. And it's kind of crazy because Cheryl Swoops on her podcast with Jordan Robinson has been saying for weeks, for months, she's saying that Sims needs to be on a team. She doesn't understand why she's not on a team, and here we are. She's on the team. And actually, she was making this game incredibly competitive. In the third quarter, the Wings were able to get the lead. It was a wild into the third quarter as well. The Wings were hustling. The addition of Odyssey Sims made an immediate impact, and they were able to keep that lead once they got it and extend it into the fourth quarter. The Lynx were steady and did come back to make it tight. And then J.C. Sheldon, I can't even say her name, J.C. Sheldon, the rookie with the clutch 3 with 48 seconds left. Just really great defense on the Lynx during that quarter. The last possession, there was a turnover, and the Lynx got the ball. But again, they played really good defense, and they were able to win this game. The crazy thing is, this is their first win since May 26th. A whole month, okay, a whole damn month they haven't won. But as soon as they sign Odyssey Sims, they win a game. Tells you right there. Latricia Chamel, the coach, was crying. She was so emotional. I could just imagine her with her country accent, talking to her team, telling them how proud she was of them. So I'm really happy for them. And the crazy thing, too, I think they were interviewing Odyssey at the end of the game, and she said she was overseas, and they signed her, and she came right back to the U.S. because, of course, you want to play for the WNBA, the best league in the world, and, you want to be home on your home soil, or at least for her. So that was kind of cool that she was, she left her current situation and came over right away. So that was the first game. Let me talk about the box score for that game. So it was 94-88 was the final. For the Lynx, Bridget Carlton had 17 points. She was killing it. Nafisa Collier had 29 points, 11 rebounds for a double-double. Crazy. Alana Smith had 15 points, 6 rebounds. Kayla McBride had 11 points. Really solid performance from them. But the Wings, Arike Gumbawale had 23 points, 9 assists. She almost had a double-double. That's kind of standard for Arike. Tia McCallum had 17 points, 12 rebounds for a double-double. Odyssey Sims had 18 points, killing it. Monique Billings, 14.6 rebounds. So, that addition of Odyssey Sims, 20 points right there, that was a key part of them winning this game. The second game, or the 2 second games of the day, started around 5 o'clock. They were on at the same time, which is so annoying. The W does this all the time. But I tried to watch both. It was very hard, and I pretty much mainly focused on the Aces versus the Sky game. There was also the Sun versus the Mystics game on League Pass, but the Aces versus Sky game was on Amazon Prime. So I tried my best to watch both of them. Before I get into those games, there is other news. In the W, the Atlanta Dream did waive Crystal Dangerfield, and they signed Maya Caldwell to the rest of the season hardship contract, which is very interesting. Maya Caldwell was formerly with the Indiana Fever, so a lot of mixing going on. I'm actually surprised they waived Crystal Dangerfield. I think she's a great player. It's just it wasn't working for Atlanta Dream. They're definitely struggling, so that's the choice that they made. Anyway, back to the 5 o'clock games that were going on at the same time. The Aces versus the Sky. It was actually very evenly matched in the first quarter, but Asia kind of put the team on her back, and she scored most of the points in the first quarter. The Aces did end up getting the lead in the second quarter. Sky made it really tight in the third quarter, but the Aces go into the fourth quarter with the lead, and they maintain control throughout. At the end of the fourth quarter, they do put Kaiser, I can never say her last name, Kaiser G, from the Sky. They did put her in the game, and as soon as she got in the game, she made a three. She is an offensive threat, and she needs to be in the game more. They don't play her very much, but she needs to get some reps and some minutes, and she could be really dangerous for this team. Anyway, the Aces were able to hold them off, and then at the end of the game, Teresa Witherspoon and Becky Hammond embraced for a really long time because they used to play together on the New York Liberty, so that was kind of a sweet moment between the two. That game, the score was 95-83. Aces win that. The box score for that game, Marina Mabry had 21 points. Angel Reese had 18 points, 11 rebounds for a double-double. I believe this is her 9th game in a row of getting a double-double, which is crazy for a rookie. Camila Cojosa had a quiet night, only 5 points, but she did have 8 rebounds. Kennedy Carter had 20 points, crazy. She was just doing amazing, and 3 steals. Lindsay Allen had 10 points. So they were playing pretty good. It just wasn't enough. You got the Aces. Jackie Young had 22 points. Asia Wilson had 31 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Kelsey Plum had 21 points. Chelsea Gray had 8 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. Girl just came back from her injury and is already killing it on the floor. But yeah, that was the score for the Sky versus the Wings. I'm sorry, the Sky versus the Aces. The next game that was on at the exact same time was the Connecticut Sun versus the Washington Mystics. And for them, for the Mystics, unfortunately, Shakira Austin, Aaliyah Edwards, the rookie, Carly Samuelson, and Brittany Sykes were all out with injury, which is kind of crazy. But the Mystics were really strong in that first quarter. They were burying the Sun. It was actually pretty crazy. But the Sun did come back in the second quarter, and then it was a very tight third quarter. Taisha Harris hit Ariel Atkins in the face with a hard elbow while going in the air for a basket. They review it, and it is deemed a flagrant 1, which is appropriate because it was an elbow to the face. Even if it wasn't intentional, anything that's above the neck is an automatic flagrant 1. So that happened, and then not too long after that, Steph White gets a technical foul after she got mad at the refs for not calling a travel on Jade Melbourne. Things were getting testy. The game was tied going into the fourth quarter. Mystics was very good though, and they were holding the Sun. I was kind of surprised, but it was really close in that last minute. Sun get a turnover and go hard at the basket to tie it. The ref calls an offensive foul that wasn't there against the Mystics, literally with 1 second left, and they're tied. If it was called the other way, they would have probably gone to the free throw line and won the game. But alas, we go to overtime, which is crazy. And I want to point out this was called by ref number 33. This dude I have seen many times in other games. He's new. This is his first year in the W, and he calls lots of bad calls. So often that teams have luckily been able to use their challenges to challenge the calls, and they always go in the way of the coaches. So he's not really good. Unfortunately, Eric Tebow couldn't challenge this. He didn't have any timeouts left, so he wasn't able to challenge it. So they go into overtime. The Sun are up 2 points. Mystics go for the win, but unable to connect, and they have to foul with 3.9 seconds to go, and the Sun end up winning. So it was a very close game. Washington Mystics has been playing some really good close games, but they just can't seem to finish, unfortunately. And finally, for the end of the night, we had the Fever versus Storm, the Indiana Fever versus Seattle Storm. It was also on Prime, Amazon Prime. A couple days ago, the Fever did waive Celeste Taylor, and they signed Damaris Dantas. Damaris Dantas could not come to the beginning of the season, so she was technically suspended. She also had like a death in the family. There was a lot going on with her, so she wasn't able to be a part of the team. But since they waived Celeste, they were able to bring Damaris on, and she's a fantastic player. She's been in the league for a long time. Great defense. So, anywho, she didn't play in this game though. The Seattle game was sold out. I mean, I've been to Seattle Storm games. The crowd comes no matter what. I went to a Seattle Storm game where they were on a losing streak. New York was there. They lost by 20 points, and the arena was packed. So I'm not surprised that they were out there in support. The Seattle community loves the Storm. So I did end up watching the second half of this game. The Storm were decisively in control. Fever did make a push at the end of the third quarter and in going into the fourth quarter, but Storm were, they're a veteran squad and they were just able to control the game. Jordan Horston was playing really well. And she kind of cramped up with 2 minutes left. They had to take a timeout for her to get her off the court. She was kind of laughing about it a bit, but it's painful when that happens. She was on the floor for like 30 plus minutes, so it's not surprising, but it's kind of funny. She gotta get those electrolytes in, stay hydrated. So the Storm were able to quiet the Fever with 1 minute to go, and they were able to win the game. Oh, let me digress back to that Sun versus Mystics games because I did not call the score. It was 94-91. 94-91. So very close game for the Mystics, unfortunately. Maisha Hines-Allen had 21.7 rebounds. Stephanie Dolson had 18 points. Ariel Atkins had 10 points. Julie Van Loo had 12 points. Shatori Wakakimbo had 16 points. Jade Melbourne had 10 points. It just wasn't enough because DeWanna Bonner had 24 points, 10 rebounds. Dejanay Carrington had 22 points. Taisha Harris had 23 points. Veronica Burton had 9 points. Alyssa Thomas was kind of quiet. She only had 7 points, but she had 8 rebounds and 6 assists. So, across the board, pretty even. So just not enough to beat the Sun. And then going back to that last game, the Indiana Fever versus the Storm. Indiana 77, the Seattle Storm 89. So a pretty decisive win there. Let's look at the box score for the Indiana Fever. Melissa Smith had 12 points, 9 rebounds. She almost had a double-double. She had 2 blocks and 1 steal in the game. Aaliyah Boston, had 11 points, 14 rebounds for a double-double. Great night for her. Just wasn't enough. Again, 1 steal, 1 block. Kelsey Mitchell had 14 points. Caitlin Clark had 15 points and 7 assists. She did turn over the ball 6 times because that's what she does. She did have a block. Look at her. She had a block. That short girl had a block. All right. And then Erica Wheeler had 15 points. I am shocked by that. I would not expect Erica to have 15 points. Oh, Timmy Fagbenley is back from her injury. She had 8.7 rebounds. So, she's back in the game. Just wasn't enough for the Storm. For the Storm, Nneka Onwumike had 15 points, 11 rebounds for a double-double. Ezzy Magmavor had 18 points. Jewel Lloyd had 34 points. 1 steal, 1 block. Crazy. Skylar Diggins-Smith had somewhat of a quiet night. She had 8 points and 9 assists, but pretty close to a double-double. And Sammy Whitcomb had 7 points. So it just was not enough for the Indiana. They're too young. They're a young team. Seattle Storm is a veteran team. It's just really hard to beat teams that have more experience than you. That's just what it is. Anywho, so that was the evening of games. It was pretty fun, although I hate when the games are like spread out all over the day because it kind of takes up my entire day. I'm kind of just thinking about basketball all day. But it was good. It was fun. If you enjoy these kind of analysis, takedown, game recaps, please like, share, and subscribe. And as I always say, my videos do not have comment sections because I don't care what random people on the internet think about me. But if you are here every day and you are watching these videos, I do care about you. You are awesome, and I appreciate you. And I will see you in the next one. Later.